Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Player 3 podcast. I'm your host, Luke Croft. Alongside me, we have the always visually stunning #TAVS, Larry Hunt.
Hi.
And next to me over on this side, we have, he can fish you a fifth sandwich.
It's appropriate because it's a fish restaurant.
He can fix you a nice, delicious glass of Pepsi and steal your daughter's heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Martin, Doug Martin.
Hello.
And sitting next to him, we have Benjamin D. Hankins. The D stands for disgustingly germy because he got me sick. I'm so devastatingly distraught because of your presence in my home.
It's a head cold.
Gosh.
Seriously. It's
so
a head
upset.
cold.
You are being kind of a whiny person.
Because we continued to tell him. We said, Ben, do not get us sick. We're standing in Subway. He's like, it's not contagious, guys. It's just allergies. There's no such thing as winter allergies. Who has winter allergies?
When you turn the heat on and all the dust blows out.
All the dust, Luke.
Or if you never dust your house and you run a fan all the time and
Boom.
dust blows out of the fan all the time.
If a fan is constantly moving, it can't collect dust. I don't know if that's true.
It sounds really good.
I will show you.
Dr. Croft says
That's
it's
science,
approved.
right? It's like a Dr. Oz show. What we say doesn't necessarily have to be true. It just has to sound believable, right?
Correct.
So, boys, how we doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Tasty.
Today is the day after Super Bowl XLIX. That's 49. Dizzy told us yesterday before the game that Google spikes in searches for how to read Roman numerals around the Super Bowl. So XL, that's 40.
Mm-hmm.
10 minus 50 minus 10, 1x 9. Boom, 10 minus 1. All right, so Super Bowl 49. You watched it. You were working, so you didn't get to watch it. But would you have watched it even if you weren't working?
No. I'm not a footballer.
Sports.
You don't have to be a football fan to watch the Super Bowl.
I'm not, but there were other things that came. The Blacklist came back last night.
But that came on after the Super Bowl.
It did, but
Directly after.
But I don't care.
I made a choice.
I'm
Luke.
over it.
So Larry, you are our local expert. How was Katy Perry during halftime?
I was disappointed to see so much of her older material being played, but I really like that she wrote in on the white Megazord thing.
Wait, when did she ride in on the More You Know star?
Right at the end.
That was her. Yeah, that was her.
Was that at Firework? Was she saying?
Yeah.
See, we had to DVR the first 30 minutes, and then we just fast forwarded through it because I would have rather watched the ending live and the halftime show on YouTube rather than the other
All I
way
did
around.
was go back and Google the commercials I heard about that I wanted to see. The Jurassic World trailer. Spot.
There was probably zero commercials that you wanted to see.
It was neat to see Cinna designed a Hunger Games dress for her
Yeah.
and performed with it.
Yeah.
You don't get that reference.
I have zero idea.
All right. It's just going to go over your head.
You know who I really liked during the halftime show? Missy Elliott, bringing all her awesome songs back.
You know who I really hated in the halftime show?
Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott bringing all her crappy songs.
You're not a Missy Elliott fan?
It's funny. Everybody in the universe
man.
liked Missy Elliott. You're being contrarian.
Not everyone.
Everybody in the universe was like
Really?
this. Like that. Twitter blew up. I went and looked at it. Everybody was like, this halftime show was mediocre. Then Missy Elliott showed up and it was awesome.
I liked when people were like, man, Katy Perry's really going to help this Missy Elliott person's career take off. That warmed my heart.
Like when Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
was
I
on
was
that
going to say the
Kanye
Paul
song.
McCartney thing.
And they're like, I don't know who this Paul McCartney guy is, but he's going to blow up now that Kanye West is on here with him. So, I, for one, thought it was one of the more exciting Super Bowls of my lifetime.
God,
I heard something crazy happen at the end.
There was a lot of crazy stuff.
It was one crazy after another crazy.
Do you know something we need to do that I just realized?
Hold on, let me
Today?
telepathically try to absorb what you're thinking.
The
No.
Mustangs. We have a local baseball team here, and they put a sale on for the total of the score of the Super Bowl. That's the percentage off of their merchandise today. So we got 58% off merchandise.
I have zero desire. What if it would have been a combined 150?
They had
score?
to pay us to come get their merchandise.
The final score was 76-74, and they have to give us money for purchasing their
Right.
merchandise.
Yeah.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
what I was counting on. Go down and get a 20 spot and then get like 3 free T-shirts.
To make this thing video game related, Madden 15, as crappy a football sim as it is, predicted exactly what the final score would be, 28-24 New England.
I thought you really liked Madden 15.
It was good in terms of the line of Maddens. It's been the better Madden in recent memory.
I see.
But it's still not an excellent football simulator.
It's no goat simulator.
No,
is what you're saying.
That's right. Anyway, this isn't a Super Bowl podcast. This is a Player 3 podcast where we get together every Tuesday, talk about video games. You can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to tweet this link out to iTunes again. And there's a lot of ways you can support the podcast. Simply by listening is definitely one of those things. But another thing that you can do is you can hop on our iTunes page, leave a review. We actually got a review in this week. So if you leave a review, we'll read it out on the podcast if we choose to, if we like it. So be nice to us. So here it is. This is from the Captain D. I don't know what that means.
I like it, though.
This is titled Pretty Darn Awesome, and it says, I've been following since nearly the beginning, and it's only gotten better in that time. The podcast is enjoyable because they're not high and mighty with their opinions. It's easy to see eye to eye with them. They offer logical predictions, their own opinions, and not just what people want to hear. In addition, the way they conduct their business is funny in itself. Honestly, who doesn't laugh when Larry groans at Ben's jingles? Exactly. I recommend this podcast to everyone who cares about video games. Thank you, the Captain D. That was very nice of you to say about us.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben's jingles suck.
They are amazing. Thank you. I work very hard on them. I spend hours a week writing them and perfecting the tone.
Spending
which they
hours
deliver.
of the week, of the month,
of the week. Thank you.
So, let's see. Here we go. We're going to jump in, and we're going to do what we do every week. We're going to talk about...
Never mind. Go on.
You raised your hand. You stopped it. You already interrupted the flow.
I thought we were going to talk about Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, do you want to... Okay.
Just real quick.
Okay.
There weren't very many good ones.
There was... Yes.
But there were two great trends. One was lots of commercials with dads who didn't look like idiots. That was nice to see. Usually dads look like complete morons in commercials. And the second trend was your kids are going to die.
They're all going to die.
That's what I picked up from the Super Bowl.
I had a great... We didn't get to watch the first part of it live, so the Budweiser commercial played right at the beginning with the dog and the horses and everything. And I wanted to send out this tweet, but it wouldn't have been relevant at the time. But I wanted to say, why is Budweiser always trying to put a tear in my beer?
I see what you did.
It would have
there.
been retweeted thousands of times, probably.
Probably
The greatest
you really
tweet of all
missed
time.
out.
I missed the golden opportunity for us to get famous. Yes, Ben.
Did you
look
guys
like
see
you were
the
about to bust?
Well, this is not really my favorite commercial, but it's like the best commercial I think that was made. The best idea of a commercial that was made for the Super Bowl. Just before the Super Bowl came on, Chevy had a commercial where they blacked your TV out for 45 seconds, just enough time for you to like get up and like try to figure out what's going on with your TV and like look around. And I think they started a snippet of the game and then blacked your TV out.
Yeah.
So you thought that it was actually gone.
See, was it that in the second half?
No, that was the beginning.
That's the beginning of the
Right at
game.
beginning.
Oh, okay.
Because I missed it. I didn't
Okay.
actually get to see it. But I was at William's house and looked around, and they said they were freaking out. Like, they were calling the TV company trying to figure out what was going on.
In
And
15 seconds, they had time to call the cable company.
I mean, they were dialing it.
Oh,
and
okay.
then it came back on, and it was like, what would you do if your TV cut out? And then it ended up being like a Chevy commercial, which doesn't make sense to me. But
Their new truck has 4G LTE, and you can watch the game in their truck.
oh,
Boom, baby.
there you go. That's why it makes sense. But that's just an ingenious, like, it's meta. It's like super meta, and I love it.
I enjoyed the draft commercial with Noah and the animals going on the ark.
I missed that.
But I did not enjoy how it ended being an avocado commercial. There was really nothing that like shook my world in the...
I remember one koala commercial a couple years back. Actually, it wasn't. What was it for? The koala looks at the camera and gets punched in the face.
I don't know what you're talking about. So we fast forwarded through some of the commercials just because like we were trying to get caught up. So especially in the second half, if there was really anything new in the second half, I missed it. I asked my 4-year-old nephew what his favorite Super Bowl commercial was, and he said it was the Push It Real Good commercial that played over halftime that's been on the air for months now. Anyway, all right.
Video games.
Enough Super Bowl. Let's talk about video games. We're going to start this week like we try to start every week, talking about the releases of the week.
Releases of the week.
Clap, clap.
Clap, clap.
All right. Here we go. It's again a very kind of slim week. The big title that's coming this week is Game of Thrones Episode 2.
Ooh, that's this week?
Yeah.
Did you ever finish the second
We're
one?
going to the wall.
We're going to the wall.
Jon Snow's going to be in this. Kit Harington's going to be in it. So you're going to the wall. And yes, I did.
You
It was
did.
good.
You did it. You enjoyed it.
Yes, I
Okay.
did. We're going to be out of town by the time this thing releases. So, but I'm looking forward to jumping into it when I get back. But I've enjoyed it. I like Telltale games. I don't know how much I like having to wait 2 months between episodes coming out.
Right.
I think this is the last one I'll buy on like a season pass, and I'll just wait for it to, come out to where I can play them all at once or come out on a disc or something like that, because you kind of got to go back and refresh your memory as to what you saw. But I feel like there's a lot more games going towards this like episodic release. I'm a big Brand New fan of the band, and they were like, after they released their last album, Daisy, they were like, we're not sure if we're going to release a regularly released title again, like album again, because with digital media, it's so much easier to just push out content as it comes in. Like, so if you write a couple songs, you release a couple songs. And so I hope that games don't head in that direction, but Telltale has made like a very successful model out of it. But I'm looking forward to this episode. Are you waiting for it all?
I'm trying to decide still. I get some desperate times at 2 or 3 in the morning when I'm like, I really need something new to play, and that would be really good. Not Dying Light. Eventually.
Are you going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning when he wants to play Dying Light?
I will if you want to get it.
You will
buy
not.
it. Buy it just to prove that wrong.
Okay, I got you.
I'll pay
I'll
for half of
stay
it.
up.
I'll pay for half of it.
Just don't let it be a Wednesday night.
Nope. You can't make stipulation.
Okay, because I had to get up really early on Thursday mornings. So
And then here's your free games this month for PlayStation Plus. Your games are going to be Transistor. Let me just pull this up. I got to get good at this because now that I'm not using my computer to record, I can kind of navigate and just read stuff directly off. So I'm going to read you the descriptions of these games. How's that sound, Larry? You love it?
Sounds good. Just so you know, I have no concept of timestamp anymore.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing to time this on. It's okay. Don't worry about it, buddy. All right, here we go. We have Transistor. This is from the creators of Bastion. Transistor is a sci-fi, that's mine, a sci-fi themed action RPG that invites you to wield an extraordinary weapon of unknown origin as you fight through a stunning futuristic city. That game's been out for a while, and it's apparently really good.
it looks really good.
So I'll try that out. And then this one is a game that is releasing onto PlayStation Plus. So like it's free upon release. Called Apotheon. The gods of Olympus have abandoned humanity, leaving you to perish without their benevolence. Take up arms against the gods, climb Mount Olympus, and take their divine power for yourself to ensure mankind's survival.
Is that like a Greek painting side scroller?
It looks like
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Does that interest you?
That kind of. It looks awesome.
And then
It's like hack and slash too, isn't it? Kind of. Doesn't it have?
I believe so.
What's
Yeah.
that poem, Ode to a Grecian Urn?
Ode.
It's like the game version.
There you go.
I was thinking it was like the game version of the ladies on the Disney Hercules movie who sang.
I just can't wait to be
Yes.
king.
Harpies?
That's not it.
Harpies?
Not harpies.
No.
I'm dying, guys, because of Ben. And then cross-buy for PS Vita, PS4, PS3 is Rogue Legacy. Procedurally generated castle means every run is different. This is a rogue light. Your character dies, but with each passing, your lineage grows and becomes stronger. Tons of unique traits make every playthrough special. And with 10 different classes to master, there's plenty of reason to come back for more. Punishment. It's in parentheses, parenthetical.
Punishment.
Parenthetical.
So those are your PlayStation Plus games. And then Xbox games with gold. Hashtag IDARB, IDARB. It draws a red box. I drew a red box. There's many different concepts. You want to talk about this now? Well, you haven't had a chance to play it because you can't get connected to anybody online.
Yep. I was sad.
It is a blast.
It's awesome.
It's like, for you, Seth, because you're like, what is this? It is a high-paced, well, it's more than 8-bit, but like that style, side-scrolling,
Just pixelated. Just say
pixelated. It's pixelated. It's like an esport. It's like a sport game kind of thing, and it's super fast-paced. It's like a mixture of soccer and hockey and
Old school Donkey Kong.
old school Donkey Kong and all this stuff. And so basically there's two goals. There's a goal for each team. There's a ball in the center that you try to run, grab the ball, and then score on the other team's thing. There's there's good things about it. First of all, it's a blast. It's challenging to play against the CPU, and it's really fun to play online when you can get a good connection with somebody.
And like you're playing with somebody that you're cool with. So
Yeah. So
I can play against the CPU.
yes,
I didn't mess with stuff enough. I went to single player, and it was just me by myself in a room.
yeah, it's kind of got like it's got a single player like story mode where you play different teams at varying difficulties. It's like a ladder system. You move up as you beat teams. You move on to the next opponent. The
What's
next
wrong with your
challenger.
multiplayer gaming, Larry?
I just wouldn't connect last night.
Oh,
When,
just on that game or in general?
Yeah, just that game.
my favorite thing about this game is that all like the kitschy like what's the words catchphrases that they use when you do something crazy like
Overkill.
they just rip off catchphrases for real, and they have like the Wheel of Fortune music, and like they do like you play like
Price is
duck,
right, bump, bump, bump,
Yeah.
bump.
and you play like Duck Hunt like at halftime, and you play like Flappy Bird at halftime too. It's just really it's a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
there's just kind of kitschy but awesome.
The only negative to it I've seen so far, well, a couple things. One, it's like any other multiplayer game. It's really dependent on the connection you have with other people. And so I just lost my train of thought because I was looking at a screen. That
So
I
if you're
shouldn't.
playing somebody with a bad connection,
Oh,
it's kind of slow.
yeah, it can get super herky-jerky. But the other thing is, like,
Herky jerky.
you can't party up with somebody online. Like, if I wanted to play with Ben, I can only play with him couch co-op. If I'm by myself, it's got to be like 1v1 online. So it won't link me with randoms, and I can't play with bots online either. And so that's kind of... And they've said that they want to release a patch later on that will allow for that. And I'm not sure why it didn't really... I'm not sure why it wasn't part of the design in the beginning, but they said it's definitely something that they want to add. Anyway.
That would make this game even more fun. I think.
Yeah. So go on to your Smart Glass app right now. Type in #IDARB. Search for it. Download it because it is awesome.
That is #IDARB.
It draws a red box. So go home and try that out, Larry.
I will.
All right. So that was your releases for this week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
That's even worse than before.
All right. And now let's move on to the news. I'm going to hope this coffee kicks in.
News with the
all in my head.
podcast, guys.
All right, here we go. Here's something for us to get frustrated about. Halo Master Chief Collection. There was supposed to be a big patch. It was going to enter into a beta for preview members that were kind of like hand selected to be a part of it. That patch is being delayed, and according to IGN, they are going to be rethinking the idea of doing a beta for this patch altogether. And for me, that makes a lot of sense. Like, because the way the patch was going to work was they were going to hand select preview members to get the patch, and then you would not be able to play other people unless those other people had the patch. So like where I am in the I'm in the preview program, you guys aren't. It would render not that we're able to play together right now, but like if I was to download it, we would definitely not be able to play together until the patch fully released. But this game is, I'm trying to think of the last time I played it, multiplayer wise.
I'm done. And that's a huge deal. Halo has been my favorite game for over a decade now, and I'm not even going to bother with multiplayer again until I start hearing good news out of it. I'm not even going to attempt it. Every time I do it, just ends in frustration. And I'd rather just hop on Titanfall or something. So,
Or Dying Light.
The thing is when it's just like me by myself, it's fine. Or if I hop on with Seth, it's fine. But as soon as you get 3 or more people in a party, then it becomes just a jumbled mess. Like somebody gets kicked or the map won't load or something like that. But I guess on the one hand, it's a good thing that they're taking their time with this patch. But on the other hand, it's frustrating because I just want it fixed. It's 2 months, almost 3 months after release at this point, and it still doesn't work.
Well, on the other hand, I mean, keep screwing up and then just give us like more Xbox Live.
Maybe we can
Hold
get
on.
reach out of the
'Cause
deal.
we got what 4? We got or a month of Xbox Live, and we got ODST because of it.
My thing is, Larry said it. It's like how can they pay us for all of this stuff with games that aren't going to work still. You know,
Yeah.
until they get the full game fixed, I don't want them working on other things to deliver to me.
Yeah,
And
sure, I guess.
Luke and I this past week encountered some problems even with the
Oh yeah,
co-op, the campaign.
We did that too, actually, on Halo 2 toward the end.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit jumpy.
Oh no.
Oh no, ours wasn't jumpy. You
No.
want to describe
Oh,
what it
No,
is?
like when we got to the end of the mission on Uprising, I think it's the next mission
Oh,
you guys
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And we got to the very last cutscene, and I switched back because we had talked on the last show about being able to switch back and forth in the graphics.
I forgot
and the
about
cutscenes.
this.
And I switched back, and it froze up and kicked me out of the game totally. Kicked Ben back to the lobby,
And we had to redo
go
it.
back and redo the whole mission.
What happened to us is on my screen, Luke was still in my game. It had the little green triangle over his head, and on Luke's screen, I was still in his game. But the other on my screen, Luke's body was not being controlled by Luke anymore. It was running around circles, shooting the ground and punching the wall and stuff. Just completely soulless liability running around with me. Might even shoot me if he got it in his mind.
And on my screen, Larry's mindless body was just continually throwing himself off a cliff, just over and over again.
And so we're still
sounds
partied
hot.
up. We're still, and whoever got to the end of the map, it would just whatever. The other person didn't get to see the end of the game. It would just end the game for both of us.
Right.
So that was kind of neat. But it sucked for me because one of the places where I dropped Luke, his body stayed alive long enough and got us this weird checkpoint. And I don't even know why we got a checkpoint here, because my checkpoint was in a spot where a ghost was boosting at my face. And so I died again and again and again.
Again and again and again.
It was wonderful.
And then we were just like, hey, we're gonna try to finish this mission anyway. So I started just running through, and the enemies were paying a little bit of attention to me, but not near as much as they should have been paying attention to us on the difficulty we were playing on. And I basically just ran through the end, and then I got to a point where they were obviously supposed to be enemies in these rooms, but there was nothing. And I just walked through, and he was only about 3/4 of the way through the mission when I got to the end, went to the cutscene. It pulls him forward and pops the achievement for him as well, and he didn't even get to play the last 3/4 of the mission.
Huh.
Yeah,
And it's like,
it's dumb.
just get your stuff to work.
And you know how last week, this is unrelated, but you know how last week we complained about the 80s hair metal in the Flying Banshee scene?
Right.
Did you guys play through Halo 2 like back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know if you remember, but we played this level where you first get onto High Charity. There's this scene where you go into this room where this massive fight is happening, and it starts playing Breaking Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
It was so epic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They took Breaking Benjamin out and replaced it
Yeah.
with that crappy 80s hair metal. It made me so mad.
Do you know Reagan Benjamin used to be my favorite band, too?
Huh.
Yeah.
Blow Me Away, that was the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that whole room lost its mood.
Yeah.
Which is what all of the heirs of this game have done. They have just simply blown me away.
We should just replay that level and then just blast "Blow Me Away" over the speakers.
If you go to old graphics, it'll play it. But
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
But it plays very lightly in the background, it seems like.
yeah, it's not.
that's what the same
overpowering.
way for all the the cutscenes too. If you do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that we don't want to be completely botched upon release, EA announced that. Well, they didn't really announce. They just said that they will be giving a Star Wars Battlefront a Battlefield-sized push. And so this is an article on GameSpot from Eddie McCooch. Don't know if that's correct. Hopefully it is. Let's see. It says, during this week's Electronic Arts earning call, CFO Blake Jorgensen talked more about the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront game, which is in development at Battlefield Series Studio DICE. So DICE has taken control of this, which is, I guess, one of the reasons
Scary.
that Visceral is doing Battlefield Hardline, and one of the reasons that the release of this game is going to be scary. But in this, he basically talks about how this is going to get the full-fledged treatment of a huge, EA Battlefield game. A lot of the comments I was seeing on social media was, like Reddit and stuff, was we just need to see that this isn't going to be Battlefield with like a Star Wars skin.
Yeah.
And they've already lost me with a little bit of the Battlefront mojo because they took it from third person to first person. I don't know how. I mean, we've already talked at length about that decision, but a lot of people are terrified that DICE is going to screw this thing up.
I'm terrified that DICE is going to screw this thing up.
Agreed.
Does the full-size Battlefield treatment? Does the full-sized Battlefield treatment include not working on launch?
That was the
That's what I
exact.
wanna know.
You ripped words completely out of my mouth. That's exactly
Guys,
what I
this
was
is
going to
going to
say.
be just like Battlefield in the sense of we're going to release it in November, but you won't really be able to play it till September.
This is going to be exactly like Battlefield. The fact that we're going to hype it all up for like a year, and then as soon as we release it, you're going to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Well, they said that this is going to release before Christmas of 2015, but they also said that this is going to coincide and align with Star Wars Episode 7, which comes out when?
December 18th.
So, maybe do you think they mean that like the launch is going to? I guess the launch would coincide with it, just in the sense of a window.
Yeah, it'll be in that same window. But I'm excited for it being kind of in that same time frame, the game taking place in that time frame. Because for those of us who have saturated ourselves entirely in Star Wars stuff forever, it'll be nice to see like new stuff that we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that.
A futuristic
use-
future.
To get to use that completely
A futuristic
useless
future.
lightsaber, that'll be nice.
The what lightsaber?
The lightsaber with the little side hilt
The
thing.
broadsword?
Yeah.
The what?
The broadsword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lightsaber whip.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Here was the most interesting quote from this article, and this was at the end. It said, Battlefront is not the only new Star Wars game EA is currently working on. The developer's Visceral Games studio is also producing an entry in the series, rumored to be an open-world game. EA has even hired longtime Naughty Dog creative director Amy Hennig to work on the title.
That excites me substantially. An open-world Star Wars game would be awesome. There have been some Star Wars RPGs that kind of felt... They had like that open world feel, but nothing that's ever like truly been open world, I don't think.
I would love a Shadows of the Empire remake.
See, these things make no sense.
These things mean nothing to me.
Let me retract that. Not never. I guess the massive multiplayer online games had to be open world, but like not MMO open world. That's what I'm excited
like the
for.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me a little nervous that EA has a hold of this stuff because their whole like what's the word?
Just
I'm
say
looking for? It's just-
sucks.
Well, I mean, they oftentimes release games that are halfway done, but then they also have like a long-standing reputation of nickel and diming their customers with DLC.
That's true.
And I just this is a game series that a lot of people love because it's a franchise that people have loved for decades, even before it broke into the video game world. And for it to be tarnished by the missteps that EA makes so often with their own franchises and things that they have created makes me nervous that they're going to alienate an entire group of an entire fan base of people because they're like, hey, you start off with a green lightsaber, you can pay us $1.50 to make it red.
Yeah.
So, but along that train of thought, I'm gonna skip down and then come back. Yes.
You know what I just thought about in this Star Wars talk?
No.
A game they should make Star Wars related, and this is gonna be a quick little snippet. We'll move on. But a game where you pick a Jedi Master, and you become a Jedi. Like you have to go through the Padawan training, and you have to go through all that stuff, and then you have to build your own lightsaber. And
Didn't they have like a Jedi Knights Academy?
Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy 2. Go by that. Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Academy. It's a complicated name.
what?
It's glorious.
Is it good?
You have to go through training, and you get to modify your lightsaber as you go.
What system is it for?
Original Xbox.
Oh, I don't have that anymore.
I bet you could emulate that probably. Is that legal?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's not legal. Moving on.
Moving on.
Plagiarism Free podcast.
Kind of on that same vein, EA CEO Andrew Wilson says they are looking into the free-to-start model for consoles, and here's a quote from him. It says, quote, on free-to-play with consoles, we think about this much the way that we think about free-to-play overall. There's a couple of different vectors to this. The first is, as we look to the future, we believe a very big part of our player base will expect a free-to-start experience. When we look at film, television, music, books, very often there's this free trial notion that actually onboards new players, new listeners, new readers, or new viewers into a service. We're actively looking at how we could offer that type of experience to our players on console and across other platforms, and end quote there. So basically, what this is it's like an extended trial period where you would be able to freely start Battlefield Hardline or Star Wars Battlefront and play like an hour or two of the campaign or whatever you want to jump into, in the hopes that it hooks you into, and then it flashes and says, "Hey, to continue playing, you pay." The free-to-play model that EA has done on phones and stuff is it's all like time-based and, sim builder. And, really just kind of the free-to-play model on mobile anyway, where you can do so many things in this allotted amount of time, and then you can either wait or pay money to continue doing stuff. Mm-hmm. And I hope we don't see that model come to console very heavily, but EA Access already offers really like a free-to-start thing where you get 6 hours of free access to EA titles before they come out, and then once your 6 hours is up, it says, "Hey, you can pay $60 and continue to play this." But with this model, basically what it'll do is it'll say you no longer have to pay this EA subscription fee, and it's not just tied to pre-release 6 hours. You can try it for an hour or two whenever it releases. You guys' thoughts on that?
I will probably never use that. I'm old school, you know me. I like paying nickels for things. Movies.
Oh, the old guy with the 49-cent coffee.
Gotcha. I love my 49-cent coffee. I'm thinking nickel coffee, man. Think up here.
Think with your brain.
Think with your brain, Zors, dog. Because old men will say dog in a few years. It's gonna be awesome.
They're bringing it back.
No, what am I trying to say? No, like just research your games and read reviews after the embargoes drop or whatever they're doing now. Watch some Twitch streams. Do your thing. I don't know.
But isn't this like even better than that? Because you actually get to jump in and try it out yourself without having to pay for it.
I mean, I guess so. I
like the way that I have it. I'm going to wait for the Game Informer. I'm going to wait for the score to come out, and then I'm going to do it.
It's like a little ritual, like you wait for this article to come out in a magazine or for it to get the cover story, and you read up on it, and you really find out about it. I know, generally, 9 times out of 10, I know that I'm going to really enjoy a game before I even play it. If you're even more of a careful shopper than I am, which I doubt, because I'm a cheap old man. I don't know. I mean, it's something nice to have, I guess. I just have absolutely no interest in it.
I think it's
Pessimism
really
3
awesome.
podcast.
I think it's super awesome because it's giving you that. And is this just EA? This is just EA titles.
So, well, this is EA, but a lot of they set trends a lot in this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole like free to play, the Ultimate Team stuff, and then the whole like just releasing broken games.
I feel like this is a way to combat. Yeah, I feel like this is a way to combat like the reputation they have of we're just going to put crap out. Because if you have the opportunity to play it before you buy it, but see the thing. It's kind of like a test drive, but the thing about it is, can they rig the test drive? Can they say this is going to be awesome for the amount of time you can play it, and then when you actually get the game, will it be, really crappy? It's like pre-rendered game footage when you watch somebody at a game conference play something that's pre-rendered, and you're like, that looks awesome, and then you watch somebody actually play it, and it's like, I wonder if the test drive is going to be like that. If the hour or whatever you get of the game is going to be like, we've set this up to where it's going to run awesome, but if I get the actual game, it's going to run like crap.
Well, if it works anything like EA Access, you can jump into whatever part of the game that you choose. Like, it's not tied to an individual part of it.
Okay.
And I think if you're good enough to just make a crappy test drive look good, you're probably good enough to make the whole thing look good. Like, I don't see them saying, because that would be glaring once the first person purchases it. Like, hey, the first 2 hours of this game are great, and then all of a sudden Star Wars Battlefront just turns into to Battlefield 4 again, and you realize you paid $60 for another game. That doesn't worry me as much as really just like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they do hide it behind a subscription of some sort. And so, there was one other EA thing I had on here. Oh yes, the Battlefield Hardline beta is going to hit tomorrow, February 3rd, and run through Sunday. Who is going to try this? Anybody?
I'll be trying it.
I'll try it, yeah.
I might give it a couple games. I might give the Evolve treatment.
I want to play some cops and robbers.
Wait,
Yeah.
are we gonna? When are we? We're gonna be back to? Yeah, we will.
We'll be back Friday.
Okay,
so
yeah.
we'll have plenty of time to play. I'm going to try it. I'm not trying it with very high expectations, but I'm not really trying anything nowadays with high expectations.
And this is like robbing banks and stuff, right? And this is Captain Robbers kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robbers and cops.
Payday 2.
Put them in jail. Put them in jail. Yeah. I mean, I think that's. I think it's kind of intriguing, but I wonder if it's gonna be like. The only thing that makes me like is if I can get the same experience for when Heist come out for GTA 5. Like if that's the case, I'm just not gonna worry anything about this game.
Yeah, I still think it's a lot like Call of Duty in my mind of just it deviates so much from what they were all about. Like Battlefield is about warfare and like fighting in wars in other countries and military operations, and to just say, hey, we're going to launch this new concept and just tag on the name Battlefield to it because it's already something that's been branded and people recognize. Like, just seems lazy to me because it doesn't. From what I've seen of it, it doesn't seem like a Battlefield game, just simply because of the setting. Like Call of Duty in the same way with the Advanced Warfare. It's like Modern Warfare was what they did, but then it went to this like hyper-futuristic, unrealistic exoskeletons and stuff like that. And so wait-and-see approach for me. The Evolve beta really allowed me to say, this isn't my thing, and I think the time I'll get with this beta in the couple of days I'll get a chance to play it are really going to give me a clear picture of if I want to play it or not.
Now, has there been like any talk about the gameplay, like how it's gonna play out? Like, is it gonna be like distinctive roles within this game, or is it just everybody can do whatever they want?
Well, obviously, it's like a team of cops and a team of robbers, and I think most of them are going to be situational game types where you have like an objective that you're playing to, which is you don't see. I mean, there's people on Battlefield that play team deathmatch, but there's way more people that play. I almost called it hardpoint. What's it called? Where you like rush.
Yeah,
they play a lot of rush.
See,
objective game types.
But see, like within Battlefield, you've got like distinct like subsets of like you have a medic and a assault person and a support person. You know, is it going to be? I'm assuming with it being a Battlefield game, it'll have that kind of thing within the bank robbing. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd have like a point man and like a driver and stuff. I just wonder how that's going to work. I don't know. We'll see what the beta comes, I guess.
This cool picture right here is of a guy getting tased. I kind of am digging that. You like that picture, Larry?
Yeah.
He's getting tased.
He's getting tased.
It's going to feature 3 different maps and modes highlighting this cops and criminals fantasy mode. This is from an article on GameZone. This includes the new Hotwire mode, which brings high-speed chases to Battlefield, so getaway drivers and the sort. As the criminals attempt to steal a list of marked cars while the cops try to stop them. That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, so it's not just banks. I thought it was just banks.
No.
Criminals do all kinds of things.
So this is a battlefield of crime.
Aren't there like meth labs and stuff like that you have to bust up? And
cool. That's
like maybe those are settings. And
Can you blow up a meth lab?
Can I be a SWAT member?
Yeah,
yes,
probably.
That's the whole thing.
The concept.
Okay, yeah.
Can I be a bystander?
you go to sit your coffee on the dash. All of a sudden, you see 5 cop cars flying by. You decide to follow to see what's up.
The details. This is the next item on the list. The details for the Evolve beta for the Evolve beta have been released. There were over 2 million games played, with the Hunters winning 51.5% of those games.
That's pretty balanced.
Yeah, they achieved some
crazy
balance,
balance.
which was because I think it was closer to 60-40 Hunters to Monsters in the alpha, and so. There's a really cool infograph on IGN that has all of this stuff. The Wraith did the most damage. The Kraken damaged most evenly spread across all levels. And the Goliath did the most damage on early stages. So there's like benefit to playing as all of these different monsters. Mm-hmm. But I think it's also because with Goliath, that was the first monster that you got. And most people who didn't know what they were doing probably died within the first few stages.
Well, the Goliath was that he's a brawler. They said that in that article that he...
He's a muscle man.
He was intended to you just go at him.
Right. So, but I think we pretty much gave all of our thoughts on that game. That like the beta gave me as much as I needed of that game to know what I wanted to do with it.
I'm still going to keep
Which
an
is
eye
not
on
buy
it.
it.
Which is not buy it.
I will say, based on that article, though, it seems like they put a lot of work into balancing and tweaking based off of this beta.
Well, based off of the alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got even more work they can do based off of the beta. and they've put 4 years into the game. So I'm excited to see the final product and see how balanced it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I mean, if it seems like it's playing well without having to have a full party, I may give it a shot.
See, that's the thing is like I feel like the only time I'd ever play that is if we were all playing it, and me and Seth have pretty much resolved that we're not going to get it because the Order 1886 will be coming out there soon after.
It's about 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks.
And I
2 weeks?
forgot about Elder
3, I
Scrolls
believe. 3.
Online. Too. We'll be out around that time too. Never mind.
No, it
I'm
won't.
not getting involved. It's coming out in June, but I mean,
Evolve's coming out in February.
well, whatever. It's kind of close.
February.
It's the same year. So,
Some sad news coming out of Naughty Dog. Well, not necessarily sad news, but they have effectively ruled out that Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Daxter will return under the Naughty Dog Studio label. Ben, you love Jack and Daxter.
I do.
And are you sad?
I mean, not really. I'm kind of sad, but
I think part of it is, and I support some moves like this because, like, things like I didn't love Jack and Daxter, but I really liked it a lot when I played it. Crash Bandicoot, the first few games were great. I think some things get beaten to death though with those long-running franchises. Jack and Daxter had the 3 main games.
yeah.
Crash
had a couple.
Crash started, I think, stretching the limits of where they needed to go by the end of their career. They had the Crash Racing. Did they ever have a PlayStation 3 title?
I thought the kart racing was PlayStation.
It might have been. It might have been.
Jack.
But,
I mean, you had like a couple like second party stuff with Jack too, like the Jack X Racer things, and there was another one too. I can't. It was like a puzzle game or something.
Okay, but things like that where they start coming up with crazy ideas. Mortal Kombat did the same thing for a while. Then they kind of got back to doing what they do best. But
It's basically Nintendo's business model.
exactly.
Let's establish these characters and then
Mario
just slam them into
Universe.
situations because somebody will buy it.
I think for me, the big draw with Jack and Daxter is the nostalgia of it, like just knowing like how awesome it was when I played it for the first time. So I can always have that by playing like the rebooted versions. Like, so not having a new Jack and Daxter isn't really that big of a deal to me. But
It's kind of the same reason I really don't know if I want a Last of Us sequel.
Yeah, well, I think there's different reasons behind why why they've decided not to do this. But the main one being that those games were kind of stepping stones to where we're at now, and those would stick out so much from the rest of what we get from Naughty Dog, your Uncharted, your Last of Us, and those sorts of things. That like they give these hyper realistic, really relatable, awesome, kind of true to life characters, and then to use the talent that they have to develop things like Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Daxter, just kind of it doesn't flow in the same vein.
Oh, I think they would still sell to a degree. Like when we went into GameStop a couple weeks ago, there was a family and they were asking one of the salesmen about some Crash Bandicoot game. I guess the most recent one. They're still out there.
Which I think is where the beauty of this decision is because Naughty Dog knows, like, if we did a Crash Bandicoot game, it's going to sell. But it doesn't follow the vein of what we want to do and what we as a company want to be known for at this point. And so rather than take the quick cash and say, yeah, we'll make a Crash game and we'll make a bunch of money off of it, they said, hey, we're going to focus on our Uncharted's, our Last of Us's, are realistic titles that people have fallen in love with.
I would absolutely accept a Crash or Jack and Daxter anthology though for the new systems.
Like a remastered.
Right.
they had one for
here's all the
PS3
games.
and for Vita. They've got one for Vita.
Yeah. So maybe it'll come soon because they're not going to want those games to be forgotten, and they won't be. As far
I
as
don't
I'm
know if
concerned.
I don't know if they'll put one. Well, this is just speculation for me, but I don't know if they'll make one.
Speculation!
We'll get there.
I don't know if they'll make a game that you can buy. That they may add as like PlayStation Now or something like that. But I doubt very seriously they come out with another anthology that they had. They had one for PS3 and for Vita. Not to burst your bubble. I'm sorry.
Shut up, dude. Well, and I would much rather see Naughty Dog say we're going to release the Uncharted's on a disc rather than like that's what I'd pick over Crash Bandicoot, especially since they're continuing that series, and because I don't think Uncharted 4's anywhere close to like release.
Right.
And so bringing that would be more beneficial to get people, because like we say all the time, there's a ton of people making the jump from 360 to PS4 who never had any experience with the Uncharted series, so that would benefit them a lot. In other news, Spotify is going to be making its way to PS4, and they are the exclusive partners for PlayStation Music, which is going to effectively end the run of Music Unlimited on the PlayStation.
Did
I
it ever
guess
really
it
have a
wasn't.
beginning?
We both made opposite side jokes.
Oh,
What was your joke?
I was saying, did it ever really have a beginning? What were you saying, Larry?
Oh.
Jerry.
Then I guess it was limited. Dad jokes.
But basically, what Sony is going to be doing is they are going to be moving all of the Sony Entertainment Services under the PlayStation name. And let me pull this article up. It's redirecting me. Google Drive takes so long to open your
Populate articles.
open your links. Let's see. They will be bringing PlayStation Store, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Video, PlayStation Music, PlayStation Now, and the upcoming service PlayStation View, all under the PlayStation name, even though they're not going to be exclusively held on consoles. These will also be available on smart TVs and things like that.
You got any kind of price speculation on that?
No idea. I would
All
imagine.
together, they're all going to be.
Well, they're all under the umbrella of the PlayStation name.
But they're not gonna be
necessarily going
lumped
to be lumped together for you to pay for all of them. I would imagine that with it being partnered with Spotify, if you have a Spotify account, you'd be able to use it. But the best part about this is you're going to be able to play music in the background of your games. And so go on Spotify, make a playlist for playing Destiny, and you can have the music going in the background while you play. Go ahead.
With all those things being put under the PlayStation umbrella, can I just offer some quotes from the launch of the PlayStation?
Here we go. I knew this was coming.
The PlayStation is the hardcore gamer console. You X-boners need all that fun, that all entertainment stuff on your console. It's not for gamers.
I see your point, and I agree. I totally agree. We've talked
And I
about
raise
that.
you another point.
We've talked about that a lot, but here's the thing: is this is a strategic move by Sony as an entire company to say we're going to put this under the PlayStation name because PlayStation has become the trusted name of Sony at this point, and to deliver these services to things that are not consoles.
Oh no, I think Sony should do it. I just want to point out how stupid PlayStation fans who said that were.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree that they were stupid, but I think it's two separate conversations. These services existed for the most part, except View.
Lord
Your
forgive
mom's
them,
a
they know
separate
not what they do.
What's that?
They know not what they do.
That's right. So, and I like the entertainment stuff, even though I use my YouTube stuff more so. I mean, I use my Xbox for more of the entertainment stuff. I think that's it, guys. That's it for news.
News with
Don't do it. Don't do it. We got reviews for you. Okay, here we go. Ben, you've been wanting to talk about this for a while. You've played Dying Light.
I have.
And I'm going to give an opportunity for the people viewing right now to hit the follow button and to bring up topics that they would like us to talk about. Joris Adel told us to get cancer. That's cool. This guy already has it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, by the way, Seth. Wild speculation.
How do we cure Seth's cancer?
So, anyway,
I'll let you talk about the point things we have here first, and then I can talk about my review if you want.
Oh, okay, yeah. First of all, some news coming out of the Dying Light release. First of all, this isn't on here, but it's a point worth talking about. There was no review embargo for Dying Light.
Oh, that's nice.
Bravo. Right?
Yeah.
However, they did not send out any review copies.
Oh, that's stupid.
So people didn't get their hands on the game until it was released. Which I guess it's a nice sentiment to be like, hey, we're not going to embargo the reviews of this game, but you can't play it until midnight. I don't get it.
It kind of makes more sense than a review embargo, though.
Yeah, because I mean, review embargo is a dirty word
Yeah.
to a lot of people, but it's like if you are going to limit access in any way, whether it's an embargo or not sending out review copies, you are already peeing all over, urinating all over the trust of your consumer by saying, and the thing is, and as we're going to talk about here in a moment, and as I've seen with every single review, Dying Light had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
It's a good game. People enjoy the game. They enjoy the concept. They enjoy the movement. They like the game. So why put yourself in between a rock and a hard place and say, hey, no embargo, but no review copies? Just trust your product.
We don't have an embargo with Cuba. We're just not going to do business with them.
Right. No more Cuban embargo. We're just not buying any of your products except the cigars, Cuban cigars. But anyway, then go ahead.
That's how we could fulfill Joral's wish. I don't know how to say
Yes,
his
we
dumb
could
name.
smoke Cuban cigars, and we can all get cancer for Joris Adel's sake, because he would like us to get cancer. Anyway, then did you hear about the GameStop debacle with this? Where
No.
online,
It's really awesome. It's really
there was
fun.
like a 3-hour window at 4 a.m. Eastern time to like 7, where you could go on, and if you bought the season pass, rather than giving you the season pass, you would get a digital download code for the game. So spend $20 on the season pass or $30 on the season pass, and you get the full game. And vice versa, there were people going to buy the whole game that ended up downloading the season pass for $60. And so GameStop has went back and fixed all of those things, and what you ended up getting what you purchased and keeping what you didn't intend to purchase. So there's people who took advantage of it. But the best part is this like blew up on Twitter, it blew up on Reddit and all these things. People went out to buy it, and then they fixed the problem. And here's people who have, went and like purchased something from GameStop that they're like, well, we fixed it. We're not fulfilling those things anymore because you were getting in just trying to scam the system. So, yeah, GameStop. always flubbing stuff up.
Interesting. Yes.
And then I think that is that. Oh, and
There's
then
one more really awesome
there's actually a lot of different like Easter eggs in the game for. I think there's one for GTA 5. There's a bunch, but this one is the one.
any of them yet.
This is the one I thought was funny. This is according to Redditor Zachy Wills. Dying Light pays homage to the Destiny loot cave. You go to the top right of the map, swim into the cave. This is his quote. Was not disappointed. You are presented with a server message that says your destiny is to become legend, obtain more loot, then infinitely spawning zombies come out from caves and after all are killed, it says enough. Patch 1.0.2 has been released. Do more quests. And I just nice little
It was nice. Yeah.
nice little homage. All right, Ben, give us your review.
All right. I'm not gonna give a number for this yet because I think I'm gonna actually write a review for this game. But as of right now, I am very pleased with this game. I would recommend anybody who was on the fence about buying this game to go buy it because it is an excellent game. I'll start with my dislikes because that's a much smaller list than my likes on this game. My dislikes, I couldn't change the button layout. I wanted to change jump to A instead of right bumper. You can't do that. But Luke explained a very handy thing to me today.
I did not come up with this.
That makes me okay with that. And once you play for a while, you get used to jump being on right bumper. But you have to, when you're free running, in order for you to land where you want to land, you have to look at the ledge. You have to be looking at that thing because there's no like free run button. You're just always free running, but you have to look at like the ledge you want to grab to be able to grab it. So in order to jump, what's up?
This control scheme sounds very similar to Mirror's Edge.
It probably is
the
almost
jump
exactly
scheme,
similar.
like the bumper was your jump button.
Okay.
Because
You
it
can't
was
take
more
your finger-
influenced on movement than combat.
Right. That's how this is too.
Okay.
And you can't. And there's actually I'll get into that in a second. There's actually upgrade trees for your movement that make you more combative in being evasive. Like that doesn't make any sense. But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That makes zero sense.
Yeah. But in order for you to jump and be able to look at the ledge you're looking at, you'd have to take your finger off of the look analog stick to press A if you could make A the jump button. So it makes sense to have RB the jump button. So that's my only dislike for this game so far.
All right.
And that's explainable as to why that is. So I'll get into my likes. I think the game from the very start of what you do, and I'll go ahead and explain what you're doing in this game because it's not. I'm not really spoiling anything. You're part of this government agency called the GRE, and your job is to go in and find this guy. I can't remember what his name is, but he's a former GRE agent, and he has formulated this vaccine that for this zombie virus. It's not named a zombie virus, but this virus that's broken out in Haran, and you go in to find this guy because the virus that he has formulated can actually be used as a mutated form of the virus. So it's not a healing vaccine. It's a vaccine that can make a even worse zombie virus and more volatile people, things like that. So your goal is to try to find him and figure out where that stuff is, and then get it back to the GRE. But while you're landing in Haran to carry out your mission, you are met by some of the guy that you're trying to find's men, and they see your clothing and stuff, and they think that you're part of the GRE, and they try to kill you. And you pull out a gun and aim it at the people, and that stops them for a minute from getting to you until you shoot your gun, and then all the zombies come. And these people called runners are part of another group in Haran that is opposing the guy you're trying to find. And they bring you in. One of the guys that tries to help you dies, and they bring you into this place called the Tower, where there's like their headquarters of operation. So once you get into there, you meet the head guy or the second in command of the Tower. He runs you through the whole tutorial thing, and within 10-15 minutes, you're into the game, playing the game, doing a lot of doing whatever you really want to do. It's open world in Haran, so you can run around, find stuff. I think it's paced really well in that sense because you come into the game not having to sift through a whole bunch of crap to start it. You have to do the basic stuff. Let me show you how to do this, show you how to do that. You'll find a weapon first, and it shows you how to swing your weapon and shows you how to cut your light on, all that crazy stuff. But once you get through that, and once you have a short free running tutorial, it then kicks you into the world, and you can do whatever you want to do. Going straight from that, the free running is very fluid. There's not a whole lot of anything. There's not a big learning curve to free running. You jump, and wherever you're aiming, that's where you land. There's no like phase wall to run into. There's no anything. Everywhere you can see, you can go, unless it's like blocked off. Like if the tunnel's like blocked off because of the quarantine, or a bridge is blocked off because of the quarantine. Everything is pretty much, you're able to access it from where, if you can see it. I've got a list here of things. One thing I was worried about was the weapon selection, but the weapons that you can find are actually really awesome. There's a lot of modification you can do, kind of an homage to Dead Island. There's a lot of things you can do to make your weapons awesome. And I'm probably only 5 hours into the game, and I can already modify my weapons to apply like electricity to them. There's some weapons that you can modify to apply like fire and things to them. It's really cool in that sense.
Is it like Dead Island where your weapons deteriorate over time? And
they do,
okay.
Yeah. But it's easier to repair them,
Okay.
and they have a certain number of repair things, but it's easier to find loot to repair them because you can find metallic objects everywhere, and that's a big thing you need to repair them. You can find string just about anywhere. That's a big thing you need to repair them. And they're just it's easier. It feels less constraining than Dead Island did, because Dead Island, I felt like if I had a pipe and it blew up, I was done. But it's actually, it's a lot easier to repair that thing. The open world's really cool in the fact of there's like barricades everywhere, because you're coming into this town long after the outbreak has already happened. So there are like spiked barricades and like those like things from like Normandy Beach that are sticking up, crazy things. And you can there's actually a point, I don't know what they're called. There's actually a point where you, in your upgrade trees, and I'll talk about the upgrade trees here in a second, but your upgrade trees where you can learn how to drop kick somebody, and you can drop kick zombies into the spike things instead of having to like beat them with your weapon. You can just run at them and jump up and drop kick them into like a spike thing or into one of those Normandy Beach things, and it makes it very satisfying because you haven't used up anything that you need to survive. As far as like running around throughout Haran, there are these places called safe zones where, because the main thing of the runners, they're trying to get these care drop packages from the governments and things, and you have safe zones all around that you can reclaim that have been overrun by zombies, and you have to go in and kill the zombies from the safe zone and take out a lot of you have to cut the lights back on because there's a lot of UV lights that cut back on for the safe zone, and you have storage in each of your safe zones. And if you're kind of a wimp like me and you don't want to play at night, because it really does suck at night. It's a lot worse. The zombies are a lot crazier, and there's like zombies that can sense even the slightest movements around them. you can go to those safe zones and sleep through the night and come out and play during the day. So,
But don't you get like double experience for playing at night?
Playing at night, you can level up a lot quicker if you are willing to brave the night. But I'm not. I'm kind of a wimp. But do you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. You're all
Ben is fielding questions, ladies.
Yeah,
and gentlemen.
I'm trying to get through as quick. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, so I'm trying to get through as
You're
quick
good,
as I
man.
can.
You're good.
Within the safe zone, you have this a storage bag that you can store things in. And I was afraid at first when I saw this because I thought I'd have to place where my things are throughout Haran. But it's not realistic in that sense, which I really love because if you put a thing in your safe bag, like either at the headquarters of the tower or at one of the safe houses throughout Haran, you can access that from any safe house or from the tower. So it's just changes everywhere. You don't have to worry about what I put where did I stick my gun. You know, you can it's going to be there regardless. Where was it? Okay, the loot when you find things. There are like locked things everywhere. They use the lockpick system like from Skyrim where you have to like move the thing and like you can jiggle it and stuff. They have things locked up everywhere, and it's where you would think something is. That's where that thing usually is. Like I found a pistol, my first pistol, in a cop car. So you would go searching for things in places that you feel that's where they should be.
Okay.
Most of the guns are like in vans. If you go to like police vans, they're going to be really hard to unlock, and usually there's a ton of zombies around them. But if you can lure the zombies away and you're good enough with the lockpick to unlock the van, you can usually get a lot of ammo. I've got 2 pistols already and a ton of ammo, so it's not unrealistic. It's decent amounts that would be in the vans.
I assume you've not had a chance to mess with the co-op yet.
Nah, and I really want to.
A system that Dead Island had that I'm hoping this game has as well. You and I would be fighting the same zombies, but by the time I get the game, you're going to be like level 20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be level 1. We'd fight the same zombies, but on my screen and for my character, it's a level 1 zombie. But on your screen and for your character, it's a level 20 zombie. I thought that was an interesting way to balance it out. Instead of trying to find a happy medium, just it scales for each person's skill level.
Right, and everything I'm talking about is just basically single player because I haven't gotten into any co-op stuff yet. But from everything I've seen, you can do everything co-op. There's nothing you can't do co-op. Everything within the game, which that's really cool to me. And again, homage to Dead Island, they kind of did the same thing. Speaking of that, though, doing the different game. Well, I'll say one more thing about the loot system. You can find like med kits within ambulances. You can open pawn shops. Like at one point, you do a mission for a guy and go into a pawn shop, and there's everything you would think would be in a pawn shop in there, and you can just loot the crap out of that place, and it's really awesome.
Like a lot of stolen goods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of guns with the serial number filed off of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, there's no guns in there.
A lot of old guitars.
Yeah. No.
Grandpa's guitars.
Right. Along with doing everything on there, the story so far it's turned out to be pretty good. I haven't gotten far enough in. I've done a lot of like just doing my own thing, so I haven't gotten a ton into the story to make it to see how in depth it is. But it's really awesome as far as I can tell. And I told you I'd talk about the player progression, so I'll talk about that for a second, and then I'll give you kind of I'll give you an off the top of my head rating because I think it deserves a little bit of a number. But the player progression is broken down into 3 main groups: agility, I think it's agility, power, and survival. I think it's power. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Agility is what you think it would be. It's all your movement traits and stuff, and that's how you can unlock like drop kicking somebody and like sliding into something. Slides, you have to actually unlock that. And there's also a thing that I noticed. I read through a couple of them. One of them is pretty cool. You can like run on the top of zombies. Like you can run around and run over top of them and jump
Super
them.
Mario.
Yeah. One thing that was really cool that I'm getting ready to unlock is when you slide, if you slide under something and you slide into a zombie, you can break their legs as you slide into them, and that way they can't like chase you once you hit them. Their legs are broken and they kind of have to crawl after you, which is really really cool to me.
What if they fall the wrong way and land on top of you while you're laying on your back?
Then you
vomit
may be
into
dead.
your eye.
Oh, remind me to tell you something about that after I get done because there's something that happens at the very beginning of the game you're like, what? So I'll tell you in a second. But that's obviously all your agility stuff. Your survival rank is like for what you would do with backpack. You're like carrying the stuff you can carry, stuff you can stuff you can carry, how much stuff you can carry within a thing. How like your bartering, which you can barter with at stores. People who are selling things, you can reduce your price with them. The amount of damage you can take, stuff like that. That's all out of survival stuff. And you actually lose survival points if you die. So you don't. There's not like constant progression. If you die off, some of those points are removed, and you could actually lose things that you've bought, which is kind of cool. I think it's kind of interesting.
Makes you care about dying.
Yeah, it makes it instead of just running headstrong into something. And then power is obviously all your attack stuff and doing different things. And survival includes like crafting too, crafting better weapons, cheaper, and all that good stuff. And then what I was going to tell you about the beginning, at the very beginning of the game, you actually get bitten by a zombie. Like right at the beginning, you get bitten in the arm.
And you die, and it rolls the credits, and it's really all the rest of the stuff I just made up.
Yeah,
and everything else is just a dream that happens as you're in a comatose state.
You find out that the majority of the people that are surviving in this tower have been bitten by zombies, and most of them have survived the bite, just somebody pulling them away from the zombies. Your whole thing you're trying to get from these drops is not only medical stuff and food and rations and stuff like that, but this stuff called anticin. And it's like a vaccine of sorts, but it's not a vaccine. It just suppresses the symptoms of what's happening with the zombie virus. So they're trying to formulate something that can be an antidote, but this is just a symptom suppression. So you actually, when you're starting out the tutorial, you have like a seizure from the symptoms of the virus that are like taking over, and you need to go find anticin right away. So
if you fail to get the anticin, can you start being affected by the symptoms, or is it?
I haven't come across that yet.
That'd be cool if you're like free running over top of these zombies and then you just have a seizure and fall down and die.
Yeah.
And by cool I mean really frustrating.
And then the credits roll. Credits roll. You can't even play the game anymore.
But all my talking aside, I would give right now, having not played through the entirety of the game and trying to be modest in my rating of the game, I would give this game an 8 out of 10. Because I have found literally nothing wrong with the game apart. Like, it runs smooth, and I'm playing it on Xbox. It runs really smooth. I mean, all my interactions with the zombies have been great. If your aiming has to be like realistic. Like you can't just swing and you're gonna get a headshot. You have to like aim to swing at their head. You have to aim to swing at their body. You have to aim. Your gun aiming is hard because you're not like stern and steady at what you're aiming at. You're a little nervous. So everything is point on realistic. I haven't found anything other than the button layout that's really wrong with this game. So I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I would highly recommend anybody on the fence about this game to go ahead and pick it up because it's an awesome game.
I think one of the things we should do if we recommend a game is if you like this, then try this.
Okay.
And what would be a game?
If you liked Dead Island or Mirror's Edge, if you liked the free running in Assassin's Creed, but in first person for one, and not the glitchiness of what Unity was, and if you like just zombies, period, you don't have to really like free running games. If you're into the zombie genre, you'll be scared at night. Like it will scare you. It scared the crap out of me a couple times. So you'll have that horror feel, but you can also avoid the horror feel. So if you're into horror games, but you're not like hardcore into them, and you're into free running and action zombie games, pick this game up. It's really awesome.
If you're into horror, but you're a girl like Luke and can't really handle it, you can sleep through the night.
That's right.
Right.
I'm sorry. I said like a girl.
You
The
can't
Super
say
Bowl
that.
did
Did you
not-
not watch the Super Bowl?
My bad.
Aim to Win says Dying Light is a very fun co-op. So we don't really have any experience with the co-op. So thank you, Aim to Win, for giving your insight on that. This sounds like a game that you're going to love because you like Dead Island, you like Mirror's Edge.
Oh yeah.
And
This is a dream game.
And to me, and this is just from watching live streams of it and such, it seems very much like a go fetch this, go fetch that, go fetch this. And I'm not real down with that, like where you're just being sent all over the map to be an errand boy for somebody else.
And it's not as, I mean, at the beginning, obviously, There's a lot of that. But it's kind of what you make it. And I haven't gotten through a ton of the story missions because I've been like I said, I've been doing a lot of my own stuff. But there is a lot of that to begin with. But as far as I can tell, it's not 100% that. So if that's a turnoff to you, maybe hang off for a little bit. But
and one of the cool things about the game is like you mentioned Assassin's Creed, but it looks like you have to be way more intentional than with Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed, you can really just run at anything, and if you're holding down the trigger, But in Dying Light, it looks like, yeah, it's free. You could get anywhere in the map, but you really have to kind of forge your own path.
And there's a yes and no to that. The forge your own path is a huge thing because, like in Assassin's Creed, you have to be intentional with where you go, but you also have to like make sure like I'm not gonna like if I'm jumping over to this place I'm not gonna dive off into nothingness or there's actually a thing right here that I can grab onto. Within this game, like you can shimmy up poles and stuff like there, you can grab onto anything that has a ledge you can grab up onto like and you have to make sure and like I said it is a yes and no. You can't just be running and then you're automatically shoot over to the next roof. You have to be looking at that roof. If you're running and there's a roof right here and you're like, I'm going to hit that roof, but then you look over here, you're going to go over here. And it's a lot like, I just said that like you can see me. I'm sorry.
They can.
They can. Yeah, they can. It's a lot. It's just I love the fact that you kind of forge your own way through the place. There's no set like I have to jump to this place or I have to grab up to this thing. You can shoot off if you get to a point where you're like I can't go any further. You can look behind you and like shoot off on the ledge behind you. And there's another thing I forgot to mention with the free running. If you press Y when you're running and you're like at night, even if you're running, you press Y. You don't stop running. It slows. It's like a slow motion look back kind of thing, so you can see what's behind you, and then you keep going. So it's not. I think that's a Mirror's Edge. They did some of that too, didn't they?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was some kind of slow thing you could do, but
yeah. But this is. I mean, I just happened upon it when just to look and this has got a lot of those like Assassin's Creed-esque like happening on the map. You can see it happening, and you have to run and get it kind of things. If a person's getting beaten up by the faction that you're not a part of. Which I'm at the point of the story now where you're actually doing things for both factions. They don't know where you're leading. You're actually helping. Reyes is the guy's name. That's what it is. Reyes is the guy.
I feel like you're dancing into spoiler territory.
Yeah,
okay, I need to wait. I need to step back for a second. This is early in the game though. Really early.
It's still spoiler territory.
Okay. I'll dance back away then. I'll back away from there.
But you've given us a good idea.
Right.
Of
Yes.
the game.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that. So, anything you want to mention about ask Ben about this game? Because since you're probably the one closest to the toppling over the edge of the fence.
Oh, I'm over I fell over at the beginning of this review.
When he was like this.
One question I have.
I have been impaled by the fence.
It sounds like Mirror's Edge was a little more complicated, so let me just make sure if it was or not. Like in Mirror's Edge, when you were jumping to somewhere lower, like you had to hit, like your bumper was your upward movement button, your left trigger was your downward movement button. And so, like, if you wanted to slide, you'd hit that trigger. But also, when you were coming down from somewhere high, you had to hit the down trigger at just the right time to do a roll, or you would get hurt. Is it like that, or
you don't have a roll right
it's
now?
It's a little more free than that.
I don't know if I don't know if you're able to roll at all. You may be able to at a certain agility, buying thing, but you right now you have to. You'll learn at the beginning. You have to jump into these like trash piles or onto soft surfaces or into like somewhere like the top of a building that will break your fall.
Okay.
But right now, there's not really a roll function or anything like that.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, that was our review. So let's move into our final segment. I really don't have anything for wild speculation. So if you guys have anything for wild speculation, we can do it. But I don't have anything.
I'll save my vocal cords this week.
Yeah, we'll come back to it next week. So let's talk about our random question of the week.
Random question of the week for the month for this week.
And we want our
Doesn't make sense.
we want our viewers to get involved in this part with us. I'm going to ask a question. We're going to go around the circle. These guys have no knowledge of this question because I just got knowledge of this question about 20 seconds ago. So we've talked about our most anticipated games, obviously, a lot. Oh, you might want to delete that. Is that
a spoiler?
spoiler?
From Dying Light?
Oh no, I had no idea.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Just leave it
Anyway.
alone. Then. Whatever.
Yeah.
Random question of the week, of the month, of the week. Here it is. We've talked about our most anticipated games, but looking ahead to what is coming and what might be coming in 2015, what would you think? Who is your early front runner for Game of the Year? For Game of the Year, we want our viewers to be involved in this as well.
Going into 2015,
Just through the course of 2015, it can have already released. It can, just be announced. It could be speculating to come out.
I've got high hopes for the Order. I mean, it could go either way.
Did you see the Super Bowl commercial for it?
I did
It aired
not.
before kickoff.
I did not. Tell me all about it.
It's awesome. First of all,
All right.
You get a chance to. You really clearly see the Knights of the Round Table imagery within it, because you get to see the Round Table,
Right.
which is very cool. It opens up with a scene of you rappelling down a blimp, the side of a blimp.
Yeah, I've read about that scene.
Yeah. It looks
because
really
you have
awesome.
to infiltrate the blimp.
Yeah, and
Zeppelin.
I was about to correct you.
I think.
Is it a Led Zeppelin?
Probably not.
wait,
And there's one don't know.
wait, what's it? What was it? What I miss?
It's a Zeppelin.
It's a Zeppelin, not a
Led
blimp.
Zeppelin.
What's the difference?
Size,
Zeppelin.
I think. I don't know.
It doesn't have Goodyear plastered on the side of it.
Level of explosiveness.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I feel like the story is going to be really great. Gameplay, I've kind of read mixed reviews about, but it looks like it's going to be one of those knockout PS exclusives that we've wanted.
One of the things that looks like this game's going to really achieve well. That's redundant. Well, one of the things it's going to achieve is a good level of pacing throughout the game, like between the cutscenes and like part of the mission. I got to watch part of the mission that you're going down the Led Zeppelin. Is very stealth oriented, but there's other parts where you're just running and gunning through alleys, and for me those like that was what was good about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare story. It was extremely good pacing between the storytelling elements, you getting in there playing fast-paced missions, you getting in there with your drone and doing stuff like that. And I think if the Order can achieve that, and if the gameplay is like, I don't know, how long would you be comfortable spending $60 on, like lengthwise for the
Lengthwise,
with
no
multiplayer? Keep that
good
in mind.
12 to 15 hours is really all I need. Especially since it's not an open world game, it's just sort of a linear, story driven. You're going from point A to point B within the game.
How long was Last of Us?
Way longer than that, right?
I mean, it depends on your difficulty and all that.
I'm a terrible judge of that stuff because I suck.
I think I spent about 15 hours playing on hard or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you, 12 to 15 hours, and I think in this day and age to release something that has no multiplayer with it, it's got to be an experience. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they've taken their time releasing this thing, and I think they are going to deliver on a cinematic experience. So good choice, Seth. Great job.
Thank you.
Meximex on Twitch says Halo 5 Guardians is going to be.
Ain't no way.
I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Before the Master
kind
Chief
of
Collection,
busy.
I would have been inclined to agree with him, but I think that's cast a very negative light on Bungie.
I believe
343.
Whoa! Star
Bungie
Trek
has
Battlefront.
Bungie has their own negative light.
Yeah.
Has
Never
Halo
mind, I
ever
won't
won
open
the
that
Game
can
of the
worms.
Year, really? Or?
Destiny.
I think if the Division dropped this year, it would pull it, but I don't think it's going to drop this year.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think it's anywhere close to this year.
yeah.
In the year 2021, The Division.
On the Xbox 1.5.
I have no idea. I'm bad at this. I usually disagree with Game of the Year, so whatevs.
Did you just cop out of random question of the week of the month of the week?
Copping now for the week.
For this month.
Am I not
for
allowed
this
to cop out?
week.
Not necessarily, but we will go to bed. And I'll pull up a list of upcoming games in 2015. for
Okay,
you.
I want to hear that first before
Wait,
I say mine.
no, go. This
Oh.
is we're buying time.
Oh.
You're going is buying time.
I mean, you're gonna think I'm stupid for saying this.
yeah, probably.
Just because I've been talking about for like
I
15,
love you, Larry.
15 minutes or so. I think Dying Light will probably have a legitimate run for Game of the Year.
I was wondering that.
That game is, I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's rarely when I start playing a new game that I'm like, this game is just amazing. And what?
I've made my decision.
He's got
Continue.
his. You go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. What? Read some of them off for me though, because I want to make sure I'm not like crazy.
Until Dawn, Quantum Break, Star Wars Battlefront. You
Wait,
got
wait.
Battlefield
Don't
Hardline.
give him a chance to steal mine.
Okay.
The Witcher. I think that game, with their big push for giving customers stuff for what they've paid for instead of nickel and diming people, I think they're going to draw a big crowd. And it looks like a beautiful game, and it's going to be a huge game. So I think they're in the running for it.
Let's see what we've had a lot of like fantasy games like that winning. You know, Dragon Age Inquisition.
The Elder Scrolls games
The
have done
Elder
it.
Scrolls games kind of always seem to pull that stuff. So I could very easily see The Witcher, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if Dying Light's gonna have the kind of I don't know. That game is just it's rare that and especially in this day and age, that I've gotten a game right off the bat, played it, and I'm like, man, this game is just
Usually it's I don't even put it in the console and trade it in.
yeah.
The classic Hankins.
Yeah, but it's leaps and bounds above like many of the games I played this year. So, yeah, I think it has a considerable run for Game of the Year. That's Dying Light. I mean, by the way.
Gosh, you have me at The Witcher. Like that's.
What were you going to say?
I'm intrigued by Until Dawn.
Go ahead.
Isn't that? I mean, I don't know enough about it. I was just I saw like a little picture and then a little write up in the last Game Informer that I read, with Uncharted on the cover that we talked about last week. But it just isn't that like the kind of dynamic experience, like based on something like how it quizzes you before you go in or something like that, like
Yeah.
kind of to get a gauge of a feel of what you're scared for.
Yeah, this was the game that I kept trying to apply to other horror games. This is the actual horror game that does that, where you talk about, is it more atmosphere or gore that
Right.
pulls you in?
It looks interesting. I'm thinking maybe it'll give me a few PT scares.
What is it again? Sorry. I was
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Which that game does look kind of cool.
I haven't seen a thing. I've honestly not looked
The
into it.
picture
at all.
in the magazine had like a blonde girl, like a really close up of her face, but behind her, and it looks like she doesn't even see it, is some kind of creepy, weird man. And he's just standing like in a doorway, and all you can really see is sort of his head down, maybe like a piece of his shoulder. It looked a little creepy.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
It was only a matter of time. Meximex says, never mind, it's going to be Battlefront. And again, I'd be inclined to agree if it weren't for the people that were making it.
If EA doesn't botch it, I think they have a legitimate
Yeah, they have a
chance at
legitimate
it.
shot, but they got to prove to me that, like, and plus, if they release around the December 8th, did you say 18th? Like, if they release
Yeah.
around that, is that too small of a window to get in there? I could very easily see
Go
that
ahead.
winning. Ben is, like, disgustingly shaking his head, as if this is not
I'm
even
just
a
gonna-
remote possibility.
I'm just gonna change mine.
Again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I messed up. Fable Legends is gonna win Game of the Year.
It's not.
We talked about that like 2 weeks ago, and you weren't excited about it at all.
I'm not. That's not gonna win.
Moving on.
just banging my head against the wall here.
I'm excited about it, but I'm not excited about the multiplayer of it. I don't think that's gonna probably take it out of the running.
Okay. If I'm going to go something that's on Xbox One or PS4, I'm going to agree with you on The Witcher. I think The Witcher could take it. But is there a possibility that Zelda, the open world Zelda for Wii U,
Ooh.
takes it? If that launches this year, is there a possibility that takes it? Because
I don't. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I don't think there are enough Wii U players to take it.
But I think Zelda is going to be a console mover, and
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
with the way that it's going to be, you know, kind of open world, way more in depth, and it's so different than the other console movers on Wii U. It's nothing like Smash. It's nothing like Mario Kart.
Zelda games are really great about really mixing it up from what the last game was. I think really other than those first kind of like 8-bit, I don't know if you'd call them 8-bit or not, but those first games that you would play like on your Game Boy or on your NES, and then what was that, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask that ran on the same engine. But just about everyone has this crazy new dynamic to it. New weapons, new everything, or new takes on old weapons. Yada, yada, yada. And this open world thing, I think, is going to blow it out of the water. It's going to be, if not the hugest console mover, it's going to be a favorite among the people that play and write up video games. So
but I'm with you. Like, is it going to be enough to move the needle? But I think if there's any Wii franchise that can do it, it's going to be Zelda.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome. I love making you upset by doing that. It's so fun. Mexi Mex is like
he's just Ben Hankins in this whole
He's Ben
thing.
Hankins in this discussion because he's like, nope, changed my mind again. I'm going to vote this game that's probably not coming until 2017 to be because Kingdom Hearts 3, from all reports, is a long, long way off. So,
but it will
I'd
be a
say-
contender when it comes out.
Yeah.
I'd say Batman probably has a good run at it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
But we can keep naming off
Yeah.
AAA games all day.
Yeah, there's all kinds of games. It's probably going to be some weird.
It's going to be Telltale's Minecraft.
I'm
game.
surprised you didn't say Bloodborne.
I think Bloodborne can do it, but again,
It
is
may be
it is
too
it going to
niche.
move the like it's too niche? You have like Dark Souls 1 and 2 were good games, and they have a really passionate fan base in them, but it's not a big enough thing to move the needle. But
Yeah.
you know, it's funny, we're talking all this junk about EA not being able to release something that's going to be Game of the Year with Battlefront, but they won Game of the Year with Dragon Age last year, you know. And so Mexi Mex's PGA Tour 2015, hands down, with the battleship rolling up on the green, running on the Frostbite 3 engine. That was the dumbest thing. That was the single dumbest E3 presentation. Was
We
the
had a
PGA
joke.
Tour.
What was our joke from that episode? I mean, that game was the joke, but there was a joke within it.
I don't remember.
Fantasy courses, but I can't remember.
Can you make your own courses in this?
I'm sure I could go back.
Sold.
To
We crammed PGA into every game we reviewed that day. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So, now that we've named almost every game that's coming out in 2015 to win Game of the Year, that is Player 3 Podcast, boys and girls. We did it. We did it.
We did it! Yay! Now we did it.
All right. So we're going to go around the circle. We're going to give our Twitter handles. We're going to do what we're talking about, what we're doing this week. We're going to be out of town. Me, Ben, and Larry are going to be out of town Tuesday through
Going to a
Friday.
gaming
in Savannah.
conference. Just
We're
kidding.
not going to a gaming
Gaming
conference. But so the Player 3 Podcast, unless Seth jumps on with the Twitch channel, will be pretty dead. So let's go around the circle.
Where are we starting?
You.
Me? Oh,
Always.
hey!
Don't.
I am Ben. You can follow me, or you can you can follow me on Twitch at WhoBombTrady. That's all one word, WHOBOMTRADY. You can follow me there. I'll stream Dying Light, probably some Titanfall, maybe some GTA if we ever do anything with that.
Remember, you're going to be gone most of the week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be on it all this week, but you can still follow me if you want to. You can find me at Xbox Live at WhoBombTrady, 3 words. You can find me on PSN at WhoBombTrady, all one word. And I'm gonna try to. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to use social media, so don't even try to find me on social media. If you want to, it's at No Jenkins.
Honesty.
We love it. It's the best policy. All right, Seth.
All right, name's Seth. You
Doug.
can find me at Doug Doogie. You can find me on the PlayStation Network at Buttzors. That's BUTTZORZ, Buttzors. Or on the Xbox Live at Dongzors, DONGZORZ. We've got the whole lower body theme going on.
We've got all sides covered.
Yeah, and on the rare occasion that I use the Twitch, Buttzors again. That's BUTTZORZ, Buttzors.
Should I go before you?
Go ahead.
It's weird when I go after you.
It's a seductive way to say those words.
I'm on Google Plus at Plus Larry Hunt, and on Twitter at Lair Hunts Zombies, LAR Hunts Zombies. If you don't know how to spell those, you can Google it, but you'll have to learn to spell them first. and and that's also my Twitch name, Lair Hunts Zombies. And I almost never stream, but sometimes I do. And this week, if I do stream, it'll probably be that Battlefield Hardline beta.
Ooh, yes. My name is Luke Cruft. You can follow me on Twitter at TK from Antioch. Add me on PSN at Lodger Blackman. That's LODGER Blackman. And you can follow me on the Xbox Live at Download a Hoagie. It won't let us type in Seth's Xbox Live name.
Surprise! No, it will. You put your colon too close to the D and you made a smiley face.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. Anyway, follow this page if you want to see us streaming. This is going to kind of be your hub for all things Player 3 Podcast. Go find us on YouTube, Player 3 Podcast. Follow us on iTunes, and Ben is having a tremendous amount of fun with the Americans on Twitch.
Can you make small?
You can.
You make frowny faces.
Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on iTunes and Twitter, Player 3 Podcast. Check out player3podcast.com. Please share our no pre-orders article. We think that's what's going to really help this this trend of broken games releasing. So go do that. Hopefully next week I'm not going to be sick because I felt kind of loopy this whole entire time. The Zyrtec hit.
Yeah, it makes you sleepy, man.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you.
It makes you jive. So we are the Player 3 Podcast, boys and girls. Also, leave a review on iTunes. That was awesome that we got one this week. So leave a review, and we'll read that out on the podcast.
Please.
P3P.